Well, Mr. Commissioner, I'd like to, start off with you telling us how it has felt like working with this administration 2 years on.
Yeah, thank you so very much. A pleasure to be here with you guys this morning. Yeah, it's been a very wonderful experience, and it's been a break, catching for this administration. Working with this administration was quite very, educative, and then of course we learned a lot, and then it keeps us on our toe because the administration's matters people's first, so we're actually doing the best we can to ensure that the people of Cross Variants, through all their nooks and crannies, are being touched by this administration. So it's been a very wonderful experience. And, for us in the ESCO, we don't sleep. We're trying to, bring out some policies, programs, reshape the state, rebuild Cross River State in general. So, and His Excellency and our team generally has touched almost every sector in Cross River State, and I think we're in a better impression out there. Our values have increased, and of course, so much encouragement. And then the administration has brought in so much hope and belief to the people of Cross River State, at least to some extent.
I know there's some tangible policies, some of the things that we can actually see and feel in Cross River State. Can you give us a highlight on some of the tangible policies that have, made Cross River State what it is and what it feels like today?
Yeah, thank you so very much. Look at Cross River State. Generally, we have a lot of programs, activities that are embarked on that are very visible. The aesthetics of Cross River State, Calabar in particular, has changed totally, rebuilding of most of our edifices, of course, recovering back some of our assets, like, Dancer from Tinapa, and then bringing back the state-owned library that was, totally not, visible anymore. I mean, it's an iconic place now where of late I just advise people not to, turn it to a movie theater where they go to video and film themselves. Of course, the Cross River State Newspaper Corporation, almost wearing in Europe, job is still ongoing. And of course, internal routes in Cross River State, generally from the Okele axis to the Ndog axis to centrally come one or two routes, and then of course the Calabar South, most of these routes that were never visible and never seen, that were actually harboring these, common tips for phones and all that, have all been treatized and, done. So there's total facelift, government house, total facelift, Peregrino Hall. And then the government brought in so much transparency, to the people. We actually explain, we actually read out our ESCO resolutions, and then of course put the people on, check to, verify this. If we're talking about a particular project to, comment in the next few weeks thereabout, you see work on ground and all that. And of course, even when it comes to welfare, because it's the people's first, His Excellency had looked deeper to even bring back gratuities for pensioners as first phase through 2008 to 2014. And then we have introduced, they certainly introduced social investment programs where the most vulnerable would be reached and touched directly, not through, any medium and all that. And that has already started where we are doing about, 50,000 elders and 50,000 youths. Of course, we have a public complaint index, approved by His Excellency to where, want to take this administration to the grassroots, to the commoners. Let's talk so that where we are not doing well, you'll be able to tell us and be able to improve on that, aspect. And of course, it's on, and we have a head kind of directional on that, platform.
Mm-hmm.
Many other things. So we increase our fleet, our air fleet, to four from a possible two that it was before. And then for, the administration itself coming on board was just trying to consolidate on what we, the previous administrations that, tried to put in place have done. And then, of course, we didn't want to look at taxpayers' money being wasted by this, gigantic of this project. helped us grow. So it was very okay that most of our policies should, revive these things, bring them back to life. And of course, we are hoping that Mr. President, at any point in time, we're trying to pick a date with him, will come in to, commission the Kalachika chicken. If you look at the Kalachika chicken, that was then initiated by the then administration of Professor Ben Ayade, we felt we should actually, bring it all back to life, and then that will encourage much of our, small farmers, because this government through NGKs and other had actually sent out grants to, farmers to upscale their farm, go through improving their farm produce. And then, of course, we will encourage them to, adopt some level of poultry and all that, because the uptake for that factory is huge. So we need a lot of hands in that respect. And of course, the Bakassi Deep Sea Port, we started, going through it again. And for now, we're getting close to 80% growth, because federal executive has just, approved that Bakassi Deep Sea Port. And of course, it was a very huge achievement for Cross River State. If you look at the Bakassi Deep Sea Port, initially when His Excellency came, he was very purposeful. Most of his idea was very transparent. We started with this economic summit, and of course we have the Afri Bank buying into it, sourcing for about 3.5 billion investors, so that Deep Sea Port. And then we had the geophysical, geographical survey of the area, to ascertain if it could actually carry, the Deep Sea Port, the big ships that will come in, across the exports through the areas of the Equatorial Guinea, the China, which is geographically we are situated closer to the China than even Lagos, and of course that will boost so much economy for Cross River State. So I think this administration's vision and the way it looked at it was trying to, tap into the natural resources Cross River State and Calabar, has, and see how we can actually broaden it, push it out to the world out there, so that we'll have investors that will come in. There's so much improvement in the inflow of people, investors into Cross River State. We have a lot of other agreements that we have, undertake through the Ministry of Justice with investors that have been able to buy back some of our lost assets, and of course, we gain so much in the state. And then for the very vulnerable, for the young people, of course, the People's First Administration, His Excellency were able to approve about 800 million, 2 million each for farmers and youth, for them to, as support some grant for them to actually come up with some very good agricultural initiatives. Yes, we're a population of about 4 million, and of course, if you look at that, it shows like a drop of water in an ocean or something. But it's always good to start from somewhere, because it was never there. And then you look at the streets cleanliness now. We've done close to about 70 kilometers of road completed. We are working close to about 300 kilometers still. And then you look at the policies, the laws assigned into the bill signed into law by His Excellency to the House of Assembly, the gaming, elderly, the fire service. Of course, most of these laws are very up, and of course they hit the people direct. And we have laws that gradually, even the establishment of the College of Agriculture and Science and Technology, Obubra, we established that there to, assist and aid the local produce from there, and then of course encourage them through labs teaching, and of course educational teaching and all that. So even in our education sector, of course, we have done so much. Of late, we were able to get a bit of our counterpart funding to see that, we have some assist through the Project Hope, which was initiated as one of those policies to train our teachers. Most of how we live today, what we speak today, our mentality, were gained from, our primaries. So we needed to re-equip, get them back to, rebuild our schools, print some books about 2,000 and all that for that very basic effective learning and all that. We pay YF fees to students in our schools, government-owned schools, and then institution free. Of course, even in welfare, maternity leave have been increased. These are direct touch to the people. Now we are giving 6 months, maternity leave instead of the usual 3. And His Excellency had encouraged retirees too, with about 500,000 each, 500 of them, for so that some of our retirees are quite young. Some of them have started work even before they started school. So we didn't expect them to just sit at home. We want to encourage them to do some petty businesses, get their brains, to function and all that. And of course, in security, I've done a very wonderful job. Cultural State team member of the Silver State in Nigeria. It's one of the very things. You recall before the section of this administration, the actions of Awi, Biase actions and all that was almost impossible. I mean, a lot of people were kidnapped from there and then shot out and all that. But I think it's one of the safest places. I've had commendation from people who had flat tires in their area every night, and they could come down, fix their tires. And, we had changes coming out totally out. And I want to commend the security operatives for a very wonderful work they are doing. The police, the civil defense. Lately, we apprehended some, vandals trying to vandalize the Kalachika and then a lot of other our electric poles or solar poles and all that. And of course, taking all that. So I want to really commend them for a very good job. But for us as a state, we had to create an enabling environment for the security operatives to thrive. We actually visited almost all paramilitary and military, outfits, grade their roads, internal roads, renovate their buildings, give them a very conducive environment for them to be excited and happy too. And of course, the funds for allocated to the security operatives now have so increased because we look at health, basically security, and of course agriculture, infrastructure. These were very major sectors. We focused on seriously because we knew even when you don't have a dime in your pocket, once you have quality education, you have food to eat, and of course you're secure. That's our primary objective: to secure the lives and property of Brazilians. And that's what this administration and Senator Prince Bassett are really focused on.
All right, Commissioner, thank you so much. You've given us a rich overview. Very, very, very detailed. You've touched agri, you've touched economy, you've touched security, and all of that. I think what I've not heard so far is the health sector, which we're definitely going to be coming down to. But before then, let's look at fake news. Recently at the Unicross conference, you spoke against them, or you talked about the seductive pool of clickbait. And so I'd like to ask the seductive seductive pool of clickbait at the Unicross conference, and that was looking at fake news. It's one thing to do all of these beautiful things in the States, and it's another thing for the information to go out right. So what's the ministry doing to ensure that, as the administrative head of the state media apparatus, and of course you also as the state chief media, what is the ministry doing to ensure that information getting out are accurate, proper, and there's no form of misinformation?
Yeah, thank you very, very much. That has been a very, very difficult task for us in the information sector, not even just for the state, but the Council of Information General in Nigeria. For my administration, we're trying our best. Actually, coming into a sector that was not really I'm not really grounded in it. I am an environmentalist with PhD, so I needed to learn through the roots, and I was very open for learning. And it wasn't even very easy for me in the first few months. But I want to assure you that for now, we have been able to bring back our X handles, website, we do daily bulletins. Of course, I'm always, my vote for media relationship is huge. If you notice, Cross River State have been out there in the national television almost every other week. It was just one place. What I did coming into this ministry was actually going to. I asked myself a question: how can I just, fill the media space? I had to go through, I had to get to the media space. I had to go through all the national television, paid constituted to them, spoke to them about cultural state, the new cultural state. And then, of course, the kind of partnership agreement with them on taking us in every other week, in any other story we send in, and all that. So that was key for me because cultural state right now is being heard almost a daily basis. And of course, His Excellency, courtesy of that, has been nominated for Silver Bed Man of the Year. And of course, I pray we're all voting for him. So I now looked at the basic facilities that aid dissemination of information, the CRBC, of course, the Chronicle edifice, and then of course CRBC software income. And in my wish and dream in this tenure I am was to re-equip them and put them out there to be able to have good facilities, quality facilities that will disseminate information out to the people who were actually almost moribund. CRBC here could not go more than the stadium. Your CRBC here and all. We took that first, and then there is some level of innovations with, of course, we have a very pragmatic, hardworking general manager who, in his field and his talk, he's a journalist. I mean, he's good with what he's doing. So he brought out some very wonderful ideas which we're able to take out. Yes, we'll not be able to finish all at the same time because on my visit to the Chronicle building, where I know the likes of Ray Clement and they had put so much Sam Omuka, had passed through. I mean, it's a legacy and a very mighty edifice in the central cultural state, knowing that His Excellency is very passionate at changing the aesthetics of cultural state. Because when you have a foreign or visitor investor coming to cultural state, passing through that area of Barracks where the Chronicle edifice was, man, it was an eyesore. So I started trying to rebuild all those basic foundations that will aid for picking this information out. We never had even a small type machine for printing press. And it was sad to know that cultural state were actually, going out to print materials, government, exams, whatever, cultural state items in various business centers. So I took that up with His Excellency, which honestly, I tell you, it's just the grace of God has been so fantastic and wonderful to me. Because most of my memos are very apt, and of course, these are meaningful memos that will change the people of Cultural State. Concerning his People's First mantra, when I visited the Chronicle, I saw women who are old enough to my mother sitting on the floor. There was no seat, nothing. Everywhere was totally dumped to the inside. So we took that up after the CRBC upscaling, and then of course Chronicle was actually awarded for innovation. We have started it. If you pass through the Chronicle, there is almost very new. We're not done yet because we just got some additional, to improve that. So what I'm saying basically is, I didn't really look at the information aspect of it to just come and be talking on television every time, talking here. But I went through the normal, how to revive it, how to build back those structures that will aid information out to the people. And of course, I have done that very, very well. And as I speak to you, it's difficult for us to control. I've always spoken. I've always left myself. I've kept myself open, just like I spoke in the University of Cultural State, my keynote lecture. The biggest problem we have is misinformation. Speak to the truth. A lot of people get angry. They take matters very personal. I know personal issues that have been going on with the library complex as I speak to you today. These are some issues may have born out of some personal, I don't like this guy. And he shows up, he doesn't allow this, so I'll just have to write against him. That has been one that I have formed an information cluster where we have the next man to meet the CPS is there, and of course, other media aides to have the special advisors on media, all of us to, we had advice in that platform that whenever, for us, government officials, whenever you want to take any information out, put it there in that cluster, let's digress it. We have very apt journalists. We have people like the CPS who is a seasoned journalist, and a lot of other good writers there. They'll be able to tell you, I think this got it or not. But we still have some problem with the few of us that still violate that. We're still trying to see that we get that through. And then, of course, we have this breaking news. We just entered here. Breaking news. We just went out of here. Breaking news. So most times when you call most of these persons to come to you, you'll see that these are children that have just crossed 20 to 23 years. And of course, for the social media of Facebook, WhatsApp, the handles are just out there for you to just type anything. At their corpus, even when you're doing your beer, you just say that this man stole, is a lie, he stole, yes, he stole. And once you just wrote he stole, everybody started like, man, that man is a thief. I don't like the way not even the so that is very difficult for even the information ministry of federal ministry of information to control right now. Now we're still looking for a way to see if there will be penalties, with such persons that are not professional, that are not journalists. That because I believe journalists are well trained, and of course, before they push out something, they'll be able to have gone through their, verified checks, interviews and all that. So that's a very big one we're trying to fight with. And of course, we continue fighting it. But for us, I've always told anybody that has personal issue with any of my commissioners or the state government to actually put the call straight to me, because my phone is open 24 hours to give you the information you want to hear before you go breaking news, to any of these social
Okay,
media.
so what you just said now brings me straight to my Cross River app. The state recently launched the digital tool My Cross River app. How does this app work? And then the feedbacks you get on the app, how do you ensure that it reaches the governor's desk? Can citizens trust that they can come to this app and get what we're talking about information now? So I think they would like to know how this works, especially our citizens in the diaspora. Can they also be a part or a beneficiary of this app?
Thank you so very much. Yeah, the diaspora is very, very important. Of course, are part of us and are part of the development of Cross River State, and they've contributed so much. I want to encourage them. Just last month or thereabout, 2 months, we were actually in Birmingham, even with His Excellency to preach it. So that app is open for checking of what the state is doing, where the state and all that. But recall I told you we have a public desk complaint and all that. I think it's better handled by that office, and of course we have the Ministry of ICT too, who are, Cross River State is wired in the manner that we work in synergy with the ICT. There are most of these, like the Cross River app you're talking about, it's, culture of the ministry, and not really Ministry of Information per se, because we kind of say, that is like the same, cluster when it comes to that. So that is open for every consumer to actually, be very, very, be very objective, be very straight in trying to criticize. Your criticism should be on point, not, just having something you've been harboring about a particular person in mind. You just have to, talk about it. So I think it's very open for even people in the diaspora too. They are part of us, and they contributed so much, in improving or, getting the government to, see that we meet up with the people's first matter. The call just lately, not too long, through the diaspora office, we were able to get the slave trade program, that came up. We have some of our brothers and sisters that have been living in more than 18 countries that were here. And then we had to actually, get to at the end of the program a reconciliatory service, to, air our views, forgive ourselves wherever we sold ourselves, wherever we bargained for us to be stolen. And that was very symbolic for Cross-River. And I thought that, brought a lot of blessings to Cross-River. Let me just say something, that His Excellency is getting most of these approvals, working out, recovering most of these, assets. Some weeks back, Tinapa, since 2014, was taken up from, taken and run by AMCOM. And of course, Cross-River was able to get it back for us to now decide on what we want to do with our own, and all that. I think this some level of, grace from God, because His Excellency from the one has said this state is run by Governor Jesus. And let's be very positive with the words that came out from our mouth. Because first of all, he looked at the policy that would aid the elderly. He came up with trying to pay the gratuity. He came up with trying to allow us know that as ESCO, we're here to slave for the state and allow the elderly buy their drugs and live well. He came up with trying to change some aesthetics on the roundabout, bringing in God's Bible. We came up with the church program, every quarterly church program that is done in CICT to cleanse the state, pray for the state and all that. God works. And I want to assure you that Cross River State in the next 2-3 years, you will regret not being a native of Cross River State. Because if you look at most of it, in Cross River State, they were lucky to in the South to be the only state that was chosen as for special agro processing zones, which the Vice President came here to launch. Look at this. We are not joking here. These are up for grabs, and for real, Cross River State will totally change, and a lot of things will change.
Yeah. Well, while all these are very, very wonderful achievements, and indeed a Cross Riverian will be proud, whether you're home or outside, that you are a Cross Riverian. First, I'd like to find out. It's one thing to put out these outfits and watch them. You have a good plan, but how do you assess the success? I mean, it's been 2 years and counting. How do you assess, especially for your ministry as information head? How do you assess the performance of some of these major outfits you put out there?
Yeah, thank you so very much. I mean, they are very, very visible, very obvious that even when you are blind, you can actually see them. There were times we had potholes on almost every street. I mean, we're looking at projects that would touch the common man, the common person that sells granite on the road. There were times it was even difficult to use your leg and cross through a drainage or a kind of pothole, but all that has been fixed. And of course, we have the 1111 part to do. There's no screening for who is rich or who is poor to do there. Relax your mind, just go there, sit down, tell yourself. That would always stay throughout the year. And of course, the library was never there. Of course, it's there for everybody now. Then we have some level of few spam assets which we're trying to, bring out. Recall, His Excellency lately distributed about 120, subsidized 108 tractors to farmers. These are visible issues, the visible things you can see with your eyes. And of course, we fly. Several times, other airlines have either delayed or canceled our flights. Our investors have been stranded in Lagos, Abuja, and all that. But today, we have early morning flights at early of 9 o'clock. It was never like that before. These are very visible things. I mean, for the pensioners, gratuities that have received the first phase of 2028, my worries is that most of, people sometimes don't come to even those places. Though I like it, maybe they're not praise singers, but I want to tell you so much that His Excellency's administration here set up in budget has touched a lot of life, and things are so visible for us to see. You can imagine the free transport service for during this season of this Christmas. People are entering free. A lot of I know, like there was once or twice my driver now told me he had to actually take the route to get it all done. We cannot touch everywhere right now, but gradually I think that there's some level of hope, belief. Even our tax has improved. People willingly, the Irish chairman will tell you, people willingly go to pay their tax and actually do it because there's some level of confidence, that has been brought into the system, through His Excellency's humane, way of leadership, to consider it.
Okay, Dr. Erasmus Ekpang, it's always amazing to hear you talk, when you're in the business and you're doing the business. Congratulations on, doing 2 years and more on this administration, and we look forward to more success stories in the coming year. I think I've taken something away, Miriam. Cross River State is run by Governor Jesus.
Governor Jesus, yeah, that's good to me. But then I would say that it is visible. It would take, like you rightly said, it can only take the grace of God to achieve and get to where we have been to so far. And I would like to say congratulations also to the People's First Governor. I'm talking about Prince Basi Edetu. So you've done a fantastic job in Cross River State. Who does not want to be outside at night this festive period? If you are indoor, it feels like you're missing a lot.
A whole lot.
So, if you're just joining us, this is the African Diaspora channel and also Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Miriam, and we were having a fantastic chat with the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Erasmus Ekpang. I like to call him the state's chief image maker, and of course the administrative head of all social media, the broadcast media, anyhow you want to put it. He's the administrative head of all media apparatus in Cross River State, and we would say he has been doing a fantastic job so far. Esther, this is where we're going to be calling it around.
Indeed. Well, my name is Esther Kokobasi. Thank you for your time, and see you again next time.